So it's really not about the flat earth anymore, so much as it's just really about, do you have discernment? Do you have the ability to find truth in the midst of deception and lies? You know, it's not about what you believe, it's about what you intend to do about it, right? I intend to love all and exclude no one. It's a selfless thing that anyone can get behind. Unconditional love, love without any conditions, is true love. Anything else is manipulative. Unconditional love for each other and for everyone around us. And, you know, a lot of what we are told is simply that. We have to come together, and it's not about tolerance. It's not about anything other than just unconditional love. And unconditional love doesn't mean tolerating everything and anything. But it does mean that, you know, a man isn't his worst mistake. And it means that everyone has the ability to grow. And that opportunity to grow, that opportunity to expand, is something that no one ever has the right to take away from another person. So, we live in a world where, you know, we have each other, and we can, if we work together, obtain a verifiable, immutable truth that we can stand in. You know, I look around at the world around me and I can tell that we do not live on a globe Earth. Everything from the way the sky looks, the way the light falls, everything that I see tells me that we don't live on a globe Earth, that the heliocentric model is a lie. And that really put into question a lot of things that I had to try then, and instead of realizing that I should, and basically, you know, a lot of people, including myself, went through their life thinking that, okay, well, if everyone around me believes this, it's got to be true, right? If everyone around me thinks this certain thing is true, it's got to be right? And, you know, all these people around us that are putting their life effort into these things, it has to be meaning something, right? It can't just all be meaningless. They, you know, everyone's working together trying to do their own thing. Everyone's doing their own thing, so, you know, there's no way that one person wouldn't come along and see a deception and do something about that deception. And I feel like a lot of people think that it's impossible for some kind of massive deception like the, you know, the heliocentric model being a lie to be, it's just impossible for that deception to be there, right? Because how many people would have to be involved in it? All of NASA, you're telling me every single person in NASA is lying to us. Well, I know that sounds pretty crazy. But if you can just suspend your disbelief for a second and do some research on it, you might be surprised. You know, that's what I did. I looked at it and I said, okay, well, I got to be able to figure this out. You know, I got to start taking everything around me, and instead of looking at it and just accepting it as face value, accepting it for what it is, questioning it, looking into it more, and trying to develop my own conclusion on it. You know, I wanted to say, yes, I have taken the time myself to know that we are on a ball Earth or not. And when I did that, when I took the time to look into, okay, proving that we live on a ball Earth, instead of just, okay, everyone, I don't have to do anything because it's already been done for me. Instead of having that, you say, okay, even though it's already been done for me, I still want to do it for myself. And I still want to find out for myself, so I know for myself that I have personally verified it to be true. So I'm not taking someone else's word for it, regardless of what I see. You know, if I go up on a plane and I see the curvature of the Earth, you know, in my childhood, could it have been curvature? Or could it have been your perspective and you didn't know any better? So you saw that perspective and you associated it with one thing when it could have been an entirely different thing. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, you look at the plane, like I have a friend, he looked out the window of a plane, and he says he saw curvature. And he showed me a picture of it, and I showed him with Photoshop a straight line across that horizon, proving that there was no curvature. There would be a dip, on either end if there was curvature. And not only that, you would have to look down. See, if we were on a ball Earth, as I'm sure, many of my flat earthers know, as soon as you start going higher from the surface, as soon as you start raising above the surface on a ball Earth, the horizon line, what you see, as soon as you look out and you see that horizon line, that should fall, that should go down, it should fall, and you should have to look down to see that horizon line the higher you go up. And this effect should be prominent after only a mile above the air, a mile above the surface, a mile in the air. So a mile above the surface, according to all the math and according to my own there's lots of people that have taken the time, if you want to find it, there's lots of people that have taken the time to try to develop models and to show what we should be seeing versus what we actually see. I've taken the time to make a really, good scale model of our Earth. And I did it in a couple different ways. I did it one with Kerbal Space Program and a mod that changed all the dimensions to accurate solar system dimensions. And then I did that method in that program. And then I also used Blender 3D and I made my own models. And I tested it in there too. And both of the times when I had like a hot air balloon kind of structure, on the globe Earth models that they present, or in the one that I constructed, as soon as you start going up, higher and higher into the air, the horizon line starts to fall, and you can't see it. But any video that you can find from our Earth, a couple miles up, will show you the flat horizon and the horizon at eye level for as high as you can see, for as high as they've gone. So, taking those things into account, it really starts to make you question what's going on here. I've done curvature tests. I've done curvature tests over certain lakes, and I've not found any curvature. I've also gone and I've done perspective tests, and I've taken a lot of photographs of crepuscular sun rays, and I've analyzed these crepuscular sun rays. And when I analyzed them, they showed me that the sun was close to Earth, not far away. So I'll do a video about that soon, but, all these things, it's really not about the belief or the thing. It's not really about flat Earth or not flat Earth. It's about the process of discovering, the process of verifying. Do you understand that process? Do you comprehend that process for how to obtain truth? Is it something you do regularly? It's really, I don't want people to look up the flat Earth. I want people to have discernment. I want everyone to go and verify what's around them. And if we can just start doing that, if we can just start looking at everything around us and looking into ourselves for the answer for what we want out of what we see, if we start reacting from ourselves, from our gut feelings, from our critical thinking in the moment, instead of the cookie cutter response that's been given to us to respond with, then we'll do a lot better for ourselves. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been in a situation where it's like, oh, I know this fact, let me rattle off this fact. They might not know that. That might be misinformation. So you just lied to them. You just misinformed them. If you told someone, hey, I think aliens are real. Aliens are really cool. The aliens are definitely real. How could they not be real? Are you really coming from a space where you verified that those aliens are aliens? Could it be military technology that's owned by our government? Could it be entirely terrestrial? Everything we see could be fake. It could be CGI. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of eyewitness testimony out there too, but all of it's very hazy. There isn't a single solid fact to it. There isn't a single piece of evidence to any of it. It's all just eyewitness testimony of an event that happened. Well, look at Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook was faked. Sandy Hook is a false flag event. Sandy Hook is a school shooting that happened in the United States, but it was a false flag event. It was an event created and carried out as something real, something that actually is supposed to have happened. These children were supposed to have been murdered. But why is it that I can pull up a photo, a timestamped photo that shows every single one of those kids at a Super Bowl event a year later? You can do that. You can find all of those kids from Sandy Hook Elementary alive and well. I don't know where they are now. Who knows? That's the kind of thing I want to change in the world. What happened to those kids? I can't even begin to... I don't want to think about what could be happening to those kids. You know, that constitutes a hell, in my opinion, where we have to deal with this shit. Where we have to deal with this fucking deception all the time. These lies all the time. Why are we saying hello to each other? Why are we saying hi to each other? We say hi because it's a reference to the Most High, the Almighty. We say hello to each other because we're in hell. Hello, hello. We are in hell. I'm tired of this shit. I know a lot of people are too. I'm trying to do something about it. I don't know what to do though. You know, I can try to make music all I want. I can't be in the music industry because it's full of pedophiles. How am I supposed to be a musician in a world where it's owned by pedophiles? Can't. So I gotta do something about it. We all gotta do something about it. We can't just sit by. That's the definition of evil. One of the definitions of evil is taking something pure and corrupting it. Another definition of evil is when good people do nothing while evil is going on. I don't want to be one of those people. I'm trying to do something about the evil that's going on. You know, I work every day. I try to be as selfless as I can now. I try to do what Quasi says. You know, every time I have some change, I'm trying to give it away to people now. I'm trying to not follow in anyone's footsteps, but make my own footsteps. And sometimes those footsteps land in other people's footsteps. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes we're all walking the same path and we don't even realize it. I think we're all walking the same path right now. You know, we're all here in this life, and some of us realize what it's for. Some of us don't. Just like some of us realize how important family is. Some of us don't. For whatever reason. Many of us don't realize how important unconditional love is until, you know, a lot of bad things have happened because you didn't realize what unconditional love was. You know, that isn't your parents' fault. That isn't anyone's fault other than yourself. Because you are the only person that is accountable for yourself. That's sovereignty. We all need to be sovereign. We all need to be accountable for each other's actions. We all need to be accountable for our own actions. And we all need to take and step up and take that responsibility. You know, all of us have a responsibility over this wonderful place that we have. It's gorgeous out here. It's beautiful. And there's all kinds of trash around here too. And that doesn't need to happen. It could, if someone had the intent of unconditional love and excluding no one, they wouldn't exclude the earth and trash it. It's real simple. You know, I'm much more conscious now of my littering now that I have the intent to love all and exclude no one. That's important. Think about that. Loving all and excluding no one is something everyone can get behind. It really is. If you cannot get behind loving all and excluding no one, I don't know what your deal is. I don't know what it is, man. So there's seriously people out there that you are going to hate for the rest of your entire immortal, infinite existence? You can't have that much hate. That hate will eventually dissipate. You know why? Because hate is an emotion that can only exist inside time. Hate is an emotion that can only exist inside time. Eventually that hate will wear away. You cannot fuel that hate forever. It will require too much energy. You will have to let it go. And you know what? Eventually you're going to want it to, because it's not going to be a fuel. It's going to be a burden that you have to fuel. And you're going to want to lift that burden off you. And it's not only a burden for you, it's a burden for the other person who maybe just wants to move on. Who maybe they realize they made a mistake and now they want to grow. But you're preventing them because your hate is preventing them. You know? So, let go of that hate. Let go of all that hate that you have, because it can only exist in time. The only emotion that exists outside of time is unconditional love. Unconditional love doesn't require any extra effort. You know, it actually fuels you in the long run. It'll fuel you more than you will fuel it, if we all just had some unconditional love. So I don't know, this is going on for a long time. I wish you all well. Hope this was a good video. And hope you found something out of it. Hope it was good listening to. And I hope this healed a little bit. You know, just whatever. Gave some good ideas or something. I know it's a little bit of the same thing over and over again. But, you know, words are spells. And I'm not trying to spellcast any more than I have to. And I'm also not trying to misinform anyone. You know, if I am misinformed, I sincerely apologize. I'm trying to stand in truth just as much as the next person. And, you know, for me, that immutable truth, a way I can describe it is, that immutable truth is just that we have a heart, and this heart is the center of our soul. And for me, getting back to that soul has been through unconditional love and trying to be selfless. And I'm going to keep doing that for the rest of my life. Having that intent to love all and exclude no one. I intend to release us all from bondage. I intend to bring forth a heaven on earth for the benefit of all. You know, with that intent, I go through life, and I thank Quasi for helping me with that.